Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works. We are on the road. The season is coming to a close here shortly. Thunder has 2 more games on their regular season schedule. Right now, we are currently in, where are we right now?
We're in San Francisco.
San Francisco right now. It feels like we should be in Salt Lake City, but we will be there later on today. The Thunder just played the Golden State Warriors in a crazy game. It has been nothing but meaningful games for OKC over these last 2 weeks. But it's not just the NBA that's been playing in some meaningful games. No, there's been some meaningful games in college hoops during the month of March and early April. And Michael Cage, we had to bring you on because his San Diego State Aztecs made it to the national championship game.
Woohoo.
He missed these past couple of games. He was back last night for the Golden State Warriors game. But, Mike, we're so happy to have you back. And we were so happy for you while you were gone because we knew you were on cloud 12 out there in Houston.
I was going to say not 9.
Not 9.
9 doesn't exist for me anymore. You got to take it up, all the way up, And it was really unique, for first of all, I was happy for the university, for me being one of the early recruits that they ever got that was like, we can start our program around a kid like this. And that was a long time ago. And the Final Four is an experience. I mean, it's just to be down there in Houston and knowing that you got stakes in the game. I mean, I'm looking at Nick Gallo. Okay, you're a Duke guy. You guys are used to that. Come on. I'm
Those
just
blue
speaking,
bloods.
Yeah, right. Blue blood. For lack of a better word, okay. I'm a first timer, man. So I was like, even though I'm talking like decades later after I walked the campus at San Diego State, but being down there was so surreal and being a part of that whole event.
Yeah.
I got a chance to talk to Tony Gwynn Jr.
Oh, cool.
I've never talked to Tony Gwynn Jr. And I played with his dad at San Diego State when I was a freshman. Tony Sr. was a senior, and he played baseball and basketball, as we all know, because he was a terrific baseball player, over 20 years in MLB, Hall of Famer. And I got a chance to talk to his son. And I thought that for me, because I told his son, and this is exactly what I told him. I said, look, I want to tell you something. Your dad screwed my head on straight because when I got to San Diego State, I was a little hot shot. Yeah, man, I'm the big man on campus.
Literally the big man
I was the big man on campus. But my ego, and Tony used to always tell me, bring it down, man. You're going to be all right. Just take it slow. This is just your freshman year. Don't try to do it all at once. And Tony used to always just make me see the real part of life as, learn how to be a student athlete. Show up for time on practice, show up for time on class. And, when you practice, because high school practice is different than college practice. I had to go through all of that. Mm-hmm. Tony was the one who always was like, had me on a leash. He's like, all right, man, I'm going to let you go for a minute, but I'm going to pull you back in because you're getting kind of crazy now. So how you're acting in practice or what you're saying. And so I got a chance to talk to his son. I thought for me, man, that was really real. And I told him some things about his dad from my perspective. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That had to be so special to be able to share those things and maybe some stories that he never even knew about his own dad. That's awesome. Tell us about you land in Houston. What was the first thing you wanted to do? Did you try to go find some San Diego State gear? We saw that you wore your own uniform from back in the day.
Which is a big deal because his jersey's hanging up in the rafters right now at San Diego State.
Right. Absolutely. I thought that was bucket moment for me.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of wearing it for the Final Four when they played against FAU. I didn't make it in the stadium because people going, that's Michael Cage. Let me take a picture. I don't believe it. He's wearing this San Diego State jersey from the 80s. And I finally said, okay, let me pull this thing.
You need to go incognito.
Put it under my arm and walk in for the championship game on Monday night. And that was really kind of special for me because when I made that decision to go to San Diego State, it was one of those decisions where a lot of people questioned what I did. Like,
Right.
well, why would you go? Because you can go to Memphis State at the time. They were Memphis State at the time. Eddie Sutton was coaching at the University of Arkansas, former Oklahoma State coach, legendary college basketball coach. Guy Lewis, legendary basketball coach at the University of Houston. All were recruiting me. And a host of others saying, where is San Diego anyway? In the 80s. Like, why would you go there? It was a football school. The basketball program, the coaches, honestly, this is the truth, the coaches had trailers as their office. That's how it was taken, the basketball program, when I first got there. And for me, being a young player, I just said, look, I just want to play. I want to go to a program where I can play, where I fit in. They had a run and gun style of play, and that was all I needed at the time. And so when you fast forward to what you were saying when you touched down in Houston on Friday morning, I was saying to myself, I made the right decision because I wanted to be here. They wanted me, and I had a great college career, and then I went on into the NBA. And the university now is at a national level where they're in national games, Elite Eight first time, Final Four first time ever playing for a national championship. And for me to be on the ground there with that jersey on, it was surreal for a lot of fans and a lot of guys, people I went to school with who are administrators right now in the school and former teammates. It meant a lot to me because I said I made the right decision.
We also have to talk about, because you were in the building for that game-winning shot against FAU.
Oh, my gosh.
And I thought of you. I was like, I really hope Michael Cage is okay. I hope he survived. I hope he didn't have a heart attack out there. Because I know you were feeling the pressure of that moment. What happened in the stands for you, Michael Cage, during that shot against FAU?
When that kid hit that shot, I said to myself, is this what parents feel like in the stands when they're watching the kids play? Yeah. And they win a game? I said, man, this is stressful. This is not fun. I mean, it was fun when it was over, and I said, we're going to the national championship game? I sat down and I said, oh my goodness. I said, my nerves, and I was shaking. I said, I don't have a kid out there, right? I said, I'm just here as a fan and an alum. And, that's how I felt. And I sat in this heat, and I tell you, all the adrenaline just rushed out of me, and I didn't realize how exhausted I was.
You were so wound up.
It was like he was playing in the game.
That game went, the San Diego State never led the entire game until that shot.
Wow.
So the whole time, I'm doing this, and I'm not a nail biter, but I'm like a palm squeezer. I'm squeezing my palms the whole game. I'm going, come on, guys, we're so close. And when he hit that shot, oh my goodness, it was amazing. If there was ever what you would call a moment, frozen in time, that was one. Not only for the university, but I think for NCAA basketball.
You think that went in the one shining moment?
Oh,
it had
to. So what did you do? Who did you hug? Who were you sitting next to?
Well,
I mean, I know there were a bunch of San Diego State folks kind of all in one section, right?
Right, we are, and we were all the red and blue. And I was sitting next to our assistant athletic director. And I almost knocked him over because I got these broad shoulders that really helped me a lot in the NBA and rebounding. And we were sitting there, and I jumped up, and he jumped up, and I bumped him over. I said, oh my goodness! And I looked over, and he was like, I said, well, you're gonna be sore tomorrow. That's what the players tell me when I hit him with the shoulders. And we were so excited, and I was looking around, and people were all coming around, and they were looking at me like, hugging me. And you could feel the energy and really the moment of what college basketball is all about for a lot of alumni like myself who get to experience that kind of moment. Because for us, it was our first time on deck. Like I said, Gallo, you would do, you've been around, man. I didn't know that, man. We couldn't believe the shot had gone in, and when we realized that we would be playing for the national championship of college basketball on Monday night. And that game against UConn hadn't been played yet against the University of Miami. So I stayed for that second game.
Oh, cool.
And I just sat there in the seat just like this. I could not, my voice was gone.
Yeah.
I was like somebody hit me with a phaser. And I was like,
stun gun.
Did this really happen? I was like just frozen. And I watched that, I watched the UConn game against Miami. I didn't say a word. I was like going, we're going to play here Monday night against one of these two teams.
Well, we had to peel back the curtain a little bit. We have our little group text with our broadcast team. And of course, we're all going nuts. And our producer director thought it was a great idea. Let's bring the Taco Bell takes.
We had to bring the Taco Bell takes
for this game winner. And we each gave our little take. And I think the only thing that we got from Michael was OMG, and we didn't hear from him for the rest of the night.
That was the only text you heard from Michael Cage.
And you're lucky you got that. Like I told you, I had been stunned.
3 letters.
Yeah.
And I just said, OMG, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. I'm sorry. For a guy who talks too much and sometimes a lot, I had no words. So I'm sorry, guys. I could not deliver the Taco Bell takes that night.
Michael Cage rendered speechless. That rarely ever happens.
Yeah, rare moment. That was a rare shining moment for me.
There we go. Deservedly so. But one other thing we wanted to talk to you about, Mike, just because this is your first time ever going to a Final Four, and we know you got a chance to connect with so many different people out there. I mean, the Final Four, for those who don't know, it's really like a convention.
Yeah,
I mean, college coaches, players from everywhere.
And there's a lot of people that are not involved with the 2 schools
Right.
or 4 schools that are just there.
Exactly.
Coaches, former athletes, and everybody.
Athletic directors, you name it. They all just descend upon this one event that every year. And I know you got a chance to see some really awesome folks there as well, too.
I did, and it was really unique that I was able to. I got a chance to talk to Steve Fisher,
Nice.
who was the coach prior to Brian Dutcher, who's now the coach of the Aztecs. And I got a chance to, because he was there for 17 seasons at San Diego State.
He coached Kawhi Leonard
That's
and,
right.
and some of those big teams.
Yep, and he was, so he really got the program off the ground. When I was there with my coach, Smokey Gaines, we were building the like basement level.
Right.
Steve Fisher got it off the ground. So that was kind of cool to see Steve and talk to him because he's retired. And then I got a chance to talk to Brian Dutcher, the head coach, which was kind of neat for me because even though he was assistant coach with Kawhi Leonard, he was really one of those guys who was always in the background, a very defensive-minded coach. And so I got a chance to talk a little X and O's with him. And Macalacai Flynn, he was at the game too.
Yeah.
Who plays for the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
That was one of, I'm not sure if he was Steve's player. I believe he was Brian Dutcher's tenure at San Diego State. So I got a chance to say hello to him and say, how about this, And I thought that, the whole, when you run into these people, everything happens so quickly, because everybody is like, when you're at your section of the game, you're in your fan section. So you're going to run into people that you either know you, or they want to know you because they heard about you. And so really, and I saw a lot of former players, a lot of guys you probably would know, Tim Shelton, DJ Gay. These was all guys who played at San Diego State during Steve Fisher's era. I was living in California at the time before I started working for the Thunder. So I was able to go down and help, Steve with recruiting and talk to him. And I was always at all the games and stuff like that. So I got to know these players who are now retired. And so it was nice to see all of them. I thought that was really cool for me to like reconnect because it's really a like you said, it's a convention. The game is really, it's just the afterthought. Hey, this is the game, but there's so much buildup to that because there was a lot of speaking engagements. There was a lot of the fans, San Diego State fans, had tickets to the last Sunday night. The Houston Rockets played the Los Angeles Lakers. Mm-hmm. At the Toyota Center in downtown Houston. They said, do you want to go? I said, no.
I see plenty of NBA basketball.
Come on now. Exactly. All right.
They said, well, come on, go in with us. I said, no. I'm being for real. I don't want to go to watch the Rockets play the Lakers. I'm here for the Final Four.
Right.
I just asked 2 people to cover for me.
He's seen the Rockets and the Lakers 7 times this year already.
So I thought that was hilarious because they did not get it.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Every single day he's dedicated to the NBA.
I don't understand why they didn't want to go to the game with us. I said, ugh.
Well, we know you were able to keep up with the Thunder a little bit while you were away, and you didn't have to. We had you covered.
Yeah,
we had you covered, but we're glad that you were able to keep track while you were gone.
Yeah, and I had my phone. I had my app on. I always open my app and watch the games. And I go through my cable package to pick it up. And you guys did great. You guys were great.
Talk about one shining moment.
No. I mean, Lawson, as
Pal Paris Lawson just held it down. Yeah.
Solo analyst, solo sideline. We're a team. We've always been a team. And, we're a 4-person team who really work well together. We're like the Thunder. We
got a deep
we
bench.
win together.
That's right.
We figure things out as we go along. We've had a lot of challenges this year. And I know when you got your analysts missing, it's everybody has to do a little bit more. So
and you're the star of the show. I mean, and that's you're the one with the NBA experience, and so it's a big shoes to fill when you're gone. And
size 16 shoes to fill.
Yeah, you guys filled them, and it was I really appreciate it because it let me know while I was down in Houston at the Final Four that what, don't worry back there. These guys got you covered for the Pacers game. These guys got you covered for the Phoenix game. And, the last time I missed a game, I was sick. I was like, you got to do it anyway. I couldn't even raise my voice. So this was one I was going, okay, all right, I'm flying out. I don't have to worry.
That's right.
Because you know what? They got my back.
And we're really excited to have you back, Cage. It's the crew's back together. Whole gang's back together again. All right, we're going to talk some NBA basketball right after this. We're going to get into some meaningful games that the Thunder's been playing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at coopaleworks.com.
All right, so basically since the middle of March, OKC has experienced some really intense games out there on the floor, whether that's home, whether that's away. As we get towards the end of the season, these games have just ramped up in intensity and pressure, and OKC has been getting a lot of teams' best punches, and it has made for some really fun basketball to watch, really, and I'm sure some really fun basketball to play for OKC. And what we're calling this, and what we've mentioned already, we're calling these meaningful games. And Mike, you've experienced these sort of games before. How different do these sort of games feel compared to the start of the season and kind of the middle of the season?
Well, you got a couple of things going on. First of all, you've been building up to where you are. You've earned the right to be here.
Yep.
To be in this position and say, hey, look, you know what, we're not done yet, and you play like that. And then second of all, you say to yourself, okay, we only got a few games left. So a lot of times when NBA players are thinking about the schedule, you think about, okay, this is going to be a tough part of the schedule, 15 games out. Like, we talked about March.
Yes.
We had 17 games in March. You knew that in February. You don't have, this is it. You don't have 17 games left in 1 month. And I thought that, when you think about how the team got through that 17 games, I thought it was very pivotal. It showed a lot of character.
Yeah.
It showed a lot of focus, because one guy can't carry you through 17 games.
True. And
the Thunder have some, a great young talented player in Shea. He's going to be no doubt about it. He has arrived. Okay, let's just get it all out there. He's here. But for him to be able to trust in his teammates like he's done the whole way, that's also what helped got him there. Because they're a good team. They play defense. They turn you over. They shoot really well from the free throw line, which is important. They're what, third, fourth best free throw shooting team. Shoot better than the Warriors do from the free throw line, who can't even get to the free throw line.
True.
But for a young team to be doing these kind of things, I'm watching and I'm saying to myself, this is not bad. This is sustainable. We're not talking about December, where there's maybe been 25 games played or 20. We're talking in April, where we're at 80 games last night against the Warriors. So you say to yourself, okay, they're understanding how to be professionals. Sometimes, a lot of times, these guys are experiencing things for the first time. This type of moment for everybody to be so engaged and to play the Warriors the way they did last night, I was like going, okay, they're understanding a lot of components of the game about how to prep, because the Warriors they got the best home record. You've got to play them like they have the best home record, besides where you're at right now with where your season is and how you're trying to finish up. And some of the things I think personally that these guys all wanted to do in their young careers, because, we're the, second youngest team in NBA history. So a lot of these guys don't have history. This is history for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't think of a more just real in-your-face experience than going up to Golden State, their last home game of the regular season, in a game that they have to get, basically. It must win for this Warriors team that's, a finals team year in and year out, a team that has championship aspirations. As the Thunder, you're going to get their 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah. You're going to get their best punch. And to be able to hang in there, and not just hang in there, but actually be the one to deliver that first right cross and take charge of the game in the first quarter, be up 10 in the first quarter, be up 10 at halftime. Extremely impressive for this team to be kind of in the great game, so to speak, and to hang into that battle and not flinch.
Yeah. And what's really interesting too is that I was a young player in this league, and it's hard getting everybody swimming in the same direction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a stray.
Yeah.
You just haven't seen that yet. Where you go, get back over here. We're trying to go this way. And come back over here. What are you doing? We're going. You've seen a really tremendous focus, and I think that's really a sign. I'm gonna give Mark Dagan and his coaching staff credit. Because a lot of times young players want to prove themselves individually.
Yeah.
This group of guys have proved themselves as a team.
Yeah.
And it is true, and I know we say this a lot of time, and it sounds like a cliche, but the sum is greater than the parts here. And that's what got them where they are right now. And that's, I think, what makes them so fun. I think this is why our fans have embraced them, because they see how hard they work. They see how hard, they put it out there every single game. And it exemplifies, I think, what Oklahoma is all about, what the Thunder organization is all about. Look, don't give us nothing, man. We're going to earn it. And I think this group has earned the right to be exactly where they are right now with 2 games remaining in the season.
And I think it's a great opportunity for the fan base as we come back from this road trip, that final home game of the season against the Memphis Grizzlies on Easter Sunday. It's a great chance for the fan base to really wrap their arms around these guys. I mean, who at the beginning of the season in Oklahoma City or anywhere was predicting that they'd be in this type of situation right now? And so, yes, the Thunder hasn't necessarily gotten the results on the scoreboard the last few games against Phoenix, against Golden State, had a couple tough losses last week, but this is the opportunity for the fans to watch these guys going through these experiences for the very first time. And this is a team that has an average age of 23 years old.
Wow.
Can you imagine being in some of these situations like we're talking about against Phoenix, fully loaded, hasn't lost with Kevin Durant in the lineup, against Golden State, needs this game desperately. And then on the flip side, a team with an average age of 23 years old being hunted, having the target on their back in games against Portland and Charlotte and Indiana. I mean, Michael, can you put that in perspective of all of a sudden having that target on your back when you're this young? Well,
what I see now, is coaches are starting to coach our lineups now.
Yeah.
Which is respect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's tough to get for a young team in the NBA is respect. Like last night, the Warriors elected not to start Kevon Looney. They started Draymond Green at the 5 spot. That was solely for the Thunder. Like they know that the Thunder plays really well with a small lineup. We're not a big team right now anyway. And that was really to try to stop us from getting a good start to that game last night. That's the kind of respect they're starting to get, from teams. You're talking about the reigning NBA champions. Steve Kerr, who says, "Okay, Kevon, I gotta try to figure this team out. This is a young team, but they don't play like that. They don't make a lot of mistakes, which is really impressive. That this team can turn you over and not turn the ball over for an entire season. I mean, that's like. In fact, I was looking at the stat sheet at halftime of that game last night. We gave no points up off turnovers. We've had quite a few games this year where at halftime we have not turned the ball over. Let me tell you something. I would get 2 turnovers when I was a young player just walking in the building.
And that's while the Thunder was playing some of their most aggressive offense that we've seen. I mean, there were probably 4-and-1s in that first half with how aggressive they were driving to the rim.
And they play with a certain confidence, and I think you have to have that in the league because being a young team, veteran teams like last night, veteran teams like the Phoenix Suns, they're going to try to take your confidence away.
Yeah.
I know I used to do it when I was a veteran player. They did it to me when I was a young player. They would try to take your heart out in that first quarter and make you realize this game is over, And I thought that, that's what's really been impressive is that they've shown a lot of, collective, courage, fiber, the kind of stuff that's moving forward that's going to really help cement a lot of these young guys' careers.
I think a microcosm of the Thunder season was actually last night and something that you're talking about right now. The physicality that we saw on that driving and 1 finger roll by Ousmane Dieng is something that we wouldn't have come close to seeing at the beginning of this year. And we have to remember, for as much as the Thunder has surged here since the start of 2023, the first 2 months of the season are just as much a part of the Thunder's story this season as well. And frankly, the Thunder was not physical enough. It wasn't executing enough. It wasn't tenacious enough and aggressive enough in that first part of the season when they were one of the worst offensive teams in the league. Well, in 2023, a lot of that is flipped, and a lot of it is because of the physicality, because of the aggressiveness. And we saw that on that play from Ousmane Dieng, a guy who could not make that play at the beginning of the season, just like so many of these Thunder players. And to your point, Michael, the entire team as itself really understands itself better now and knows how to go out there and execute and do it with a little bit of oomph behind it.
Well, I think, that Mark Dagnall's done a great job of throwing a lot of guys in the fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't ready in the early part of the season, but that's okay. You got guys out there like SGA, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort covering for you. So all right, hey, you know what? Don't worry about if you missed that shot. Don't Pokashevsky last year. Don't worry about if you could knock that 3-point shot down consistently, or you didn't have the confidence to bring the ball up the court. This year he's knocking down a 3, and he's bringing the ball up with confidence. He's a 7-foot unicorn.
Yeah.
To really say it, and you've had people who have made those kind of strides, and really when you look at it collectively, they're all going in the same direction. And the accolades come along with it, man. I mean, with Shea being, first All-Star, there's no reason why he shouldn't be first team All-NBA. Josh Giddey, second season, man, he is just tearing. He's putting up historical numbers that puts him in a conversation with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, the kind of numbers he's having. Lou Dort, all defensive team, no-brainer. I mean, the guy, I've seen him D up some of the most lethal scores with the ball in their hand and the game on the line. And you know what? Knowing you got a guy like that can go out there and make that kind of play. Now, you're not going to be 100%, right?
Right.
Sure.
But you know what? If you can get 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10 times where you stop that lethal score, hey, you can live with that all day long.
And the beauty of that is the mentality that Lou Dort has to have guarding those incredibly potent offensive players, guys like Kawhi Leonard, who he stopped in a game-winning juncture against the Clippers earlier this month. That same mentality of being able to take punches is something that the Thunder is learning during this stretch as well, that you're getting your other team's best shot, and you've got to not only be able to throw some punches, but take them as well. And OKC's been doing a really good job of kind of responding to those punches. We saw that throughout the entire game last night against Golden State, right up until kind of the final moments of that fourth quarter. But OKC was responding to those runs each and every time the Warriors went on one. So OKC's learning in real time right now, and they've got just a couple more games left on the schedule. The next one is going to be on Thursday in Salt Lake City. And then the last one is at home inside of Paycom Center against the Memphis Grizzlies. That's going to be an early tip-off, 2:30 p.m. Central Time. So we hope to see you guys all out there because this has been one incredible season. And this Thunder team is going to bring it until the very, very end. So Michael Cage, thanks for helping us break all this down. Thanks for catching up with us. We've missed you, man.
Well, and it's nice to be back in NBA basketball because we still keep going. College basketball is over.
Yep.
So,
that's right.
I still get to keep going.
We got you now. You're all ours now. And thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop. And until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.